If you had told him a few years ago that he'd end up in a standoff with a neighbor over an ordinary mailbox, he'd have laughed his head off and kicked you out the door. But now you have to shake your head in disbelief, not because of whose dog dug up his roses, but because lately his mailbox has been routinely dented or vanishing without a trace. James's mailbox sits at the edge of his property, just like everyone else's. Nothing special, just a wooden post and a metal box mostly holding bills. Yet HOA-Karen decided his mailbox was an affront to the neighborhood aesthetic, and the first incident happened quietly. One Monday morning, James went out to get the mail and found a dent in the box and the wooden post leaning over. At first, he figured maybe some kid on a bike had crashed into it the night before or a delivery guy had misjudged the curb. But when it kept happening over and over, he started wondering if he was paranoid, until the truth proved him wrong. One quiet Friday afternoon, he decided to install a security camera in front of his house, not specifically for the mailbox, but because the neighborhood had seen a few sketchy strangers lately, and he figured it was worth it. On the first day of recording, James checked the footage, and there he was, stunned to see a middle-aged woman in polka-dot pajamas, flashlight in hand, kicking his mailbox. Yes, kicking it, like she was fighting for women's equal pay or something. For a split second, he was shocked, but then he started laughing because it couldn't possibly be real. Now, any normal person would have called the cops, or at least confronted her, but James wanted to see how far this madness would go. So, the next day, he just fixed the mailbox without a word and waited. Sure enough, the following night, she showed up again. This time, she didn't kick it. She shoved it with her hands until the post was flat against the grass, then walked off like nothing happened. By then, James knew this was becoming a routine, and that's when he decided he had to put an end to this nonsense once and for all. If Karen wanted a war over his mailbox, fine. He'd give her a gift she'd never forget. He'd lived long enough to know some people don't stop until they're taught a lesson. And Karen, she was lucky enough to be in for a shock she'd never see coming. While James was researching ways to reinforce his mailbox, he caught Karen one night on camera trying to rip it apart with her bare hands, grunting like a wild animal. If he hadn't seen it himself on the footage, he might have thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Another time, he found it crumpled flat, fresh tire marks glistening like morning dew, while Karen sipped tea on her porch with a smirk that could make the devil jealous. And whenever James checked the mailbox's condition, she'd always act concerned about it. "Oh, that's too bad. Maybe it's too close to the road," she'd cluck, all innocent-like. Too close to the road? Come on. This was deliberate, and she relished every second of him dragging out a new mailbox like some fool. James tried reporting it to the HOA. Useless, since Karen practically ran the thing. You're thinking he should call the cops, right? Normally, stuff like this doesn't stick. No hard evidence. And that cheap camera didn't catch her slick moves clearly enough. James had replaced a mailbox 5 times. Each one wrecked worse than the last, and he was fed up. But Karen's game wasn't over yet. One freezing Saturday, James stepped outside and froze. The mailbox was gone. All that was left was a jagged stump and some wood scraps, like a tornado had yanked it out. Across the street, Karen stood there, tea in hand, staring at him with that smug grin, while his face burned with anger. At James's age, you don't let some busybody bully you over something as basic as mail. He wanted her to regret ever crossing him, and he wasn't settling for another flimsy replacement. When someone backs you into a corner, crazy ideas start brewing. First, he thought about swapping the wooden post for concrete, but Karen would probably demand he tear it down before he got a single letter or bill. Next, he considered a steel post and a reinforced steel mailbox. Then a wild idea hit him. Electrify the damn thing. After 3 seconds of thought, he scrapped that. Legal trouble wasn't worth it. But as he sipped his coffee, a new idea sparked. Titanium. Only titanium could withstand storms and nosy neighbors like Karen. James made a few calls and tracked down a locksmith who could handle it. He ordered a solid titanium post and a corrosion-resistant, impact-proof mailbox, perfect for crazy neighbors, too. If she wanted to kick something, let her try. The next morning, while he supervised the installation, Karen jogged by. She stopped dead on the sidewalk and stared at him, her face a mix of shock and outrage. He could almost hear her inner voice screaming, "What's that idiot doing?" James pretended not to notice her and kept at it. The locksmith set the structure in the ground with 300 pounds of reinforced concrete. Good luck budging it without a tank. When it was done, it looked like any other mailbox on the street, but indestructible. And the best part? Now it was Karen's turn to make a move. James would start waiting tonight. Before we continue the story, where in the world are you hearing this story? And have you ever fought against HOA? If you want to know what happens next, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so YouTube can notify you every time we post another story with someone else fighting against HOA. That night, Karen stood on her porch, squinting at it like it was a puzzle she couldn't solve, while James wondered, is she dumb enough to try again? Her smug little smirk told him everything. She'd go for it. Not next week, not next month, but tonight. He sipped his coffee by the window to stay awake, opened the camera app, and then heard the low rumble of her SUV creeping down the street. His heart pounded, not from fear, but excitement. Here it was. She killed her headlights before nearing his driveway, sly as an old fox, and stopped right in front of the mailbox. For a moment, James wondered if she'd back off this time. But nope. Seconds later, the SUV roared forward at full speed, barreling straight into his masterpiece. Boom! The sound of metal slamming metal was like two supercars colliding at top speed, with a screech loud enough to wake the dead. The front of her SUV crumpled like tinfoil, bumper smashed, hood warped, steam hissing from the radiator. James didn't care about her car. His eyes flicked to the mailbox. Oh, not a scratch. It surprised him, even though he knew titanium was top tier. Karen sat there frozen, hands on the wheel, staring at her wrecked ride like she couldn't believe it. James stepped outside, cool as ever. "Oh no, Karen, were you drinking and driving?" he asked, voice dripping with fake concern. She stumbled out of the car, limping from the shock, screaming, "You set me up. This is illegal." He crossed his arms. "So you're saying you intentionally rammed my mailbox?" Her face fell. She'd walked right into that one. Neighbors started poking their heads out, porch lights flickering on. Mike next door yelled, "Holy crap, what happened?" Karen's grand humiliation was now a street-wide spectacle. She'd kicked it once, sure, then hit the ground cursing like a sailor. Now her car was toast, and she'd done it to herself. Cops showed up fast. Someone must have called, and Karen tried everything. Denial, blaming James, even claiming the mailbox was a public hazard. The officer, a stern black guy with 20 years on the job, wasn't buying it. "So you deliberately drove into it?" he asked, pen scratching away. Her lips flapped, but no words came out. He handed her tickets for reckless driving and property damage, adding she was lucky her breath didn't smell like booze. A tow truck hauled her wrecked SUV away, while James ran his hand over his mailbox. Still there, gleaming and pristine, a monument to Karen's defeat. But if he thought it was over, he was dead wrong. The next day, she doubled down on her fury, hobbling out with a bandaged foot and a lawyer in tow. James opened his mailbox to find a notice. She was suing him, claiming he'd built a dangerous structure to harm her. He laughed so hard he nearly popped out his teeth. If they were fake, this woman had spent months smashing his property, trashed her own car, stomped on his titanium fortress, and now she wanted him to pay. Bring it on, Karen. He was ready to end this once and for all. The court date arrived, and Karen hobbled in like a wounded martyr, foot bandaged, her lawyer swaggering beside her. He was one of those loudmouth types who thought volume equaled smarts. James showed up alone. No fancy suit needed to win this circus. Karen's lawyer kicked off with the dramatics. My client was gravely injured by the defendant's vicious trap. No warning, a lethal mailbox. James sat there thinking, lethal mailbox? Really? The judge, a tired old man, peered at him over thick glasses. Your response, sir? James grinned. Your Honor, she destroyed not one, but 5 of my mailboxes before this. I just wanted one that had last. Before the judge could ask for proof, he handed over a USB with the evidence, camera footage of Karen kicking, shoving, and finally ramming his mailbox like a soccer star turned NASCAR driver. The courtroom watched her foot buckle after that last kick. her face twisting in pain as she slammed into the titanium. The judge sighed, took off his glasses, and asked, "Ma'am, did you intentionally hit it?" She muttered, "I didn't know it was that hard." The judge didn't waste time. He banged the gavel, case dismissed. Karen's face turned tomato red with rage, and James figured she might finally give up. But no. A few days later, word spread she was circulating a petition to force him to remove the mailbox, claiming it was a hazard to children. Children? Their neighborhood was all retirees and grown kids. The closest thing to a kid was Max, the old Labrador who slept all day. It was absurd, but Karen didn't care about facts. She cared about winning. Only now, no one was on her side. After years of HOA tyranny, fines for leaving trash cans out too long, fines for painting a garage an unapproved color, and other nonsense straight out of a Martian rulebook, her neighbors were done. The first one she approached slammed the door in her face. The second laughed and told her to shut it. Then someone, bless their soul, took her petition, flipped it over, and turned it into a demand to boot Karen out of the neighborhood. Within 3 days, it had more signatures than a Beatles record. HOA rules said if a resident was a constant problem and the board voted, they were gone. Karen had finally pushed too far, and the whole street reeked of payback. She wasn't just losing, she was about to lose everything. The emergency meeting was packed, standing room only. Karen walked in, trying to look confident, but her eyes gave her away. The board head stood up. "We've received numerous complaints about your behavior, Karen. We're voting to remove you." She yelled, blamed James, called it a conspiracy, but no one cared. The vote was unanimous. Karen was out. 30 days to sell her house and get lost. The room erupted in applause like a nation just freed. She'd terrorized them for years, and now the tyrant was toppled. And James's mailbox stood there, a quiet hero. In those final 30 days, they watched her squirm, selling the house and dodging everyone's gaze, while her SUV vanished from the neighborhood for good, probably rusting in some junkyard. The day Karen left, the whole street threw a barbecue to celebrate. Neighbors who'd barely spoken in years laughed together, free from her reign. James's mailbox stood there untouched, a symbol of justice delivered with karma forged in steel. But here's where it gets wild. That mailbox didn't just win a battle, it became a legend. Word spread like wildfire. That's the box that took out Karen's car. Teens slowed down as they passed, whispering about the Karen killer. Stories grew. Some said it was military-grade titanium. Others swore it was forged from a nuclear bunker. One guy claimed it could stop a truck going 80 miles an hour. A YouTuber showed up, filming it like it was the Statue of Liberty. Smash that like button if you think it could take a bulldozer. James watched from his porch, coffee in hand, wondering how his mailbox became a celebrity. It didn't stop there. Some online genius started a mailbox challenge. Kids daring each other to punch or kick it. Spoiler, the mailbox always won. One night, James heard a noise, ran out, and found a teen clutching his hand, groaning. "We were testing it," the kid admitted. James shrugged. Smarter than Karen, she used a whole car. The HOA backed off, neighbors grinned, and strangers snapped photos like it was a tourist trap. His quiet little mailbox had gone viral. Karen was gone for good. Rumors said she'd moved to some other suburb to start over, probably still having nightmares about that titanium post. Her old house got new owners recently, and James caught the new guy eyeing his mailbox, not out of fear, but curiosity. He wasn't jumping to conclusions, but if there was another Karen in town, the mailbox was ready. It wasn't just metal anymore. It was a monument to standing up to bullies, proof that even at their age, they didn't have to take nonsense. All it took was some concrete, a bit of steel, and a whole lot of stubbornness. And that, folks, is how a mailbox took down the worst neighbor in history and became the talk of the town. And you, where are you hearing this story? And have you ever gone against HOA? Would you like more stories about someone going against HOA? If your answer is yes, please like and subscribe to the channel so that YouTube can notify you every time we post another story on the channel.